Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. NHL playoffs are in full swing. If I don't get your blood pumping, we've got the NBA regular season, playoffs starting tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Mac McGee, and I don't know much, but I know one thing. LeBron's going to be a little upset if he ends up getting his ass knocked out in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Well, we've got all that ahead and more. And plus, I think Justin and I might be up for induction of the Basketball Hall of Fame is what it looks like at this point. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
All anyone's talking about is this election. It's ruining Twitter.
Andy, you should be excited. This will be your first time voting.
I believe I speak for all of America when I say let her sit this one out.
So boring. Wait, we haven't even gotten to the Federal Reserve yet.
Oh, don't get me started on this. You know, Aaron Burr shot Alexander Hamilton 10 years too late in my book. It's easy to be consistent like Obama when all you've ever done is organized communities. He did a great job with that south side of Chicago, boy, didn't he? It runs like a watch down there. You can't wear one.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. I'm Mac McGee sitting alongside Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you this morning, sir? On, I guess the playoffs officially start today in your world.
Yeah, it's go time in Smashville, and I'm optimistically nervous. It's a calm nervous. I like what we saw the last two matchups against Carolina out of this squad, and hope they can carry that momentum and have a recipe to. They got to steal one here. They've got to get one of these two and bring it home and try and secure home ice at that point.
What I like so much about the NHL playoffs is you can throw records out the window. A lot of times you get upsets because it's such a low scoring sport. It just really comes down to does the play between the pipes exceed their play between the pipes, right? And so obviously there's a lot of factors in that, shots on goal, et cetera, et cetera. But like last night, Florida, I think they were 5-2 in the regular season against the Lightning, and they dropped the first round. The first game of the first round. And so that's what's got me excited about tonight is that I'm just, it's a worn out cliche, but it's telling me there's a chance. I think they've got a chance because they're in it. And once you get in it, it's a different setup, obviously, but it reminds me of March Madness where anybody can win any, what was it? Was it 2 years ago that the Lightning looked unstoppable and they got swept out of the playoffs by Columbus?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's what I'm leaning towards, hoping for, I guess is a better way to put it. Before we get into some of the NHL action, I did want to go ahead and top off, or I guess finish off a lot of people's thoughts on what was going all over social media yesterday. The Basketball Hall of Fame, obviously, the Kobe Bryant induction took place this weekend with Michael Jordan, and they announced the Hall of Fame class for this year the next morning. And to lead the list of what the hell is Ben Wallace. And I'll just give my spiel real quick on it. This guy I don't care what his accolades are. He averaged 5.7 points a game his entire career. Ben Wallace averaged 5.7 points in his entire career. And so I kind of went back and forth with a guy that does a similar show to us yesterday about this, and he thought that it was great, and that basically, now you got to take it in context. I don't believe he's a big baseball fan. I think he's more of a football, basketball guy. And he was trying to put down the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. He said because it's too hard to get into. And I was going to quote a movie line, but I didn't think he'd get it. You know, the famous one from Tom Hanks and what is the name of the all girls baseball league movie? Tom Hanks, early 90s. The classic.
If you wouldn't have asked me, I could have told you
Anyways,
there's no crying in baseball movie.
Yeah,
a League of Their Own.
Anyways, there's a line in there where Gina Davis is talking about quitting the team, and she says it just got too hard. And his line is, "It's supposed to be hard. The hard is what makes it great." Right. And that's just the way I feel about the MLB Hall of Fame. Yeah, there's a couple of Bobo entries because the Veterans Committee screwed up with Harold Baines, but all in all, it is it's a who's who of who played the game. Ben Wallace, 5.7 points a game. I mean, that's the big thing that jumps out at me. And I get it that he was defensive player of the year. You know who else was defensive player of the year? Sidney Moncrief. Okay, so I mean, what the hell are we talking about? Dwight Howard was defensive player of the year. He had like 4 or 5 good seasons, and he's been a bum the rest of his career, or at least for the last decade. So that tells me they're going to put him in the Hall of Fame. So basketball is a sport that you can usually play to you're about 40 if you really want to stay in shape. You can't go off longevity because they all play into late in their career if they're any good at all, because they play. I mean, if you're Dwight Howard, you're not stupid walking away from like a $15 million deal because you're like, dude, I'm not going to make this anywhere else. I might as well play it until they say no thank you, right? So what say you? I know you're not a basketball fan per se, but just the whole generalization of, and I've been saying this for years, the Basketball Hall of Fame is a joke.
I'm actually surprised by your take there. I thought you would be with him for a little bit, since this is a league that doesn't play defense anymore. So you might as well enshrine one of your last defensive players. Only one other player has 4-time Defensive Player of the Year awards. So I believe that's Mutombo, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, listen, the offense production is not there. He had a good run 2000 to 2006 with the Pistons, and I think that's most notably where his accomplishments are coming from. It was a great run. Then in 04, they won the championship. So he has a ring.
It wasn't him.
No, it wasn't. You know, I'm just trying to check my boxes. You know, does he have a ring?
I'll put it this way.
So I just have to.
I'll put it this way. I would concede defeat if he had a really good rebounding, okay? Because that's important in the game. He didn't even average double digits in rebounding. That's total team rebounds. 9.6 his entire career. So he wasn't scoring. He wasn't a great rebounding threat. Okay, he was a good defensive player. I get that. But also to your point, they kind of outlawed defense. So how good was he really? Right? He was the lesser of evils. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be in a team Hall of Fame, a Ring of Honor kind of thing. I just think Hall of Fame, it's a joke what they did. I think I have the list of the entire one, and this is, I mean, look, there's no point of even bringing up the WNBA ones because no one follows the sport, and we wouldn't know hide or tail, you know, what makes them great or not. I did see that one of the girls that's getting inducted won 7 championships, and if she's the main reason, then I would say, okay, you know, because because the Basketball Hall of Fame is college, pro, and WNBA. I can understand if you have 7 rings and you're like the Tom Brady of your sport. I don't know if she was the main catalyst because it's just I can't watch it. Rick Adelman, 2-time NBA champion, 11-time All-Star Chris Bosh. Those I have no problem with. Paul Pierce, I have no problem with. Bill Russell, I guess because they're putting him in as the head coach a second time. I think that's a little stupid. I really think that they're leaning into something here because the note said the first black NBA head coach, Bill Russell, but he's already in the Hall of Fame for his play, and he was not a good coach. So that's just kind of like a footnote, and I think that's really going towards the all the virtue signaling that we see nowadays. And then Ben Wallace, and then Chris Webber. He's a question mark for me, and he was a better player than Ben Wallace. But the one that really sticks, and I feel like every year the NBA has at least, or excuse me, the Basketball Hall of Fame has at least one guy that you're like, all right, I mean, he's good, but all he played was defense in a sport that you're supposed to go two ways. The argument that was given to me by the gentleman I was going back and forth on it, and I'll give him his due for his argument. I think it's a weak argument. He wanted to say, well, then will you not put pitchers like a DeGrom or something in the Hall of Fame because they have a bad batting average? No, because the sport, it's a rarity when a pitcher can hit. That's why what Ohtani's doing on today's scale, who keeps getting referenced, it's Babe freaking Ruth, right? We're not referencing anyone in the 80s or 90s that did it. It's Babe Ruth. So no, I don't, especially when half the sport doesn't even play offense, right? Half the sport has a designated hitter, so you can't even put that into play. But this to me is the equivalent of putting Ozzie Guillen in the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's a guy who's a really good defensive player, and that's it. And he you know, and had no stick. And I would put Ozzie Guillen in before, just because I've always really liked Ozzie Guillen. All the crap he got into when he was in Miami, I was still pro Ozzie Guillen. But I'll give you the last word, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I guess I could be talked into it. I'm not an avid fan, so I don't really have enough to stand on to fight it. I find the Weber one interesting. I thought it funny you brought it up as well, because you know, not being a fan, what I remember most of Chris Webber's the timeout.
Right,
and that trumps his NBA career. So I'm with you. I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting. Everybody gets a ticket, you know, I guess.
Yeah. And you know, the thing about Chris Webber is, and I actually like him more as a broadcaster than I have when he was playing, because when he was playing, it was a little different. But Webber, 5-time NBA All-Star, 3-time second team, when that's a part of your jacket that everyone's bragging about, 3-time second team. He was the NBA Rookie of the Year, okay, but that's 1 year, and then there's nothing. He didn't win a ring. He played on bad Golden State teams, bad Washington Bullets teams, the Kings. That was the only team that he did really well, but he could never get past the Lakers. So the fact it just wasn't the fact that he couldn't win the title, Justin. He couldn't get to the championship. And then he played for the Sixers during their down spiral, and then he played for the Pistons after the Pistons won the championships with the Wallace when they were on the crapper. And then a 2008 Golden State Warrior ended his career. And that was long before.
Play for the Pistons, do you get into the Hall of Fame? Because this seems like there's always Pistons going in. I mean, is that the way to get to the Hall of Fame through the NBA?
You know, that Piston team in the early 2000s had so many players. They were a collective unit. I think it's one of the great teams of all time because they played a team game, and they really were fun to watch, unless you just hated the Pistons for whatever. You know, because of what Lambeer did to you in the 80s. But that's why you see so many Pistons going in. And then, of course, the bad boys in the 80s had several of them come in. But they were really good. But the problem with the Pistons is they never really had their Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, et cetera, et cetera. They had a lot of guys that were really good. And I guess I'm just holding them to too high of a criteria, because I think of Hall of Fame, and I guess it's just the baseball fan in me, I think of the elites. Football Hall of Fame, it's pretty darn close. You do have every year one or two guys that you're like, but they're normally like old dudes that they're trying to put in, and they're trying to figure out. Football is really hard to vote on too, because the game has changed so much over the decades that it's really hard to break it up. But basketball, it's just a joke. It's an absolute joke. And it would piss me off if I'm Michael Jordan in the Hall of Fame and they're letting guys, nothing against Ben Wallace personally. I don't know anything about him personally. I'm saying, and I look over and I'm like, you're putting me in the same room as him, right? It's just like, we're not the same. We're not the same. It's kind of like the the TikTok video I saw the other day where some lady about my age was sitting there and she said, you guys whine and cry over every little thing. My generation, we were in mosh pits. We're not the effing same. I was like, I know that's right. And then I had flashbacks when I used to go into those stupid mosh pits like a moron getting flogged around. The smallest dudes pack the most powerful punches. I'll tell you that. Let's go ahead and move on to the NHL playoffs because we're going to run out of time. I really want to dive into this because I watched 4 games this weekend, which I think would have surprised you. But I do enjoy the Hall of Fame. That's Hall of Fame. I got to put my ledger. I do enjoy the NHL playoffs much more than the regular season, just like with basketball. And so I watched most of the first game on Saturday night. We ended up going out and having beers, and they didn't have the game on, and I wasn't going to argue and fight about it. But yesterday, I watched the Islanders top to finish, and then I did the same thing with the Florida game. And then the Minnesota game, I kind of I glanced at it. So I'll say I honestly watched 3 games this weekend. Did you get a chance to catch a lot of it, or?
I caught some of the Nationals Bruins on Saturday, similar situation to yours. And then Lightning Panthers was the one I caught yesterday.
I was disappointed that there weren't more games on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know why they've rolled out the way they did, but it was odd, especially because, Carolina and Nashville have been done since last Monday. So, they've had an entire week off. I thought they would have played a little bit, but to hold them till Monday, I just thought was interesting. But
I think they're trying to drag their feet to wait for the
North, the Canadian League,
yeah,
because it's still playing through. I think the 18th is the last regular season game, so they would be eligible the 19th. But I'm sure they got to give them a day off. And then
there is a game because I was looking at it. There is there 2? Tuesday the 18th. Oh, wait a minute. All right, well, those may not be playoff games then because
no, they're still regular season.
Okay, so maybe Thursday might be. Yeah, Thursday's their first game. So nuts to that. I thought they were actually starting, but I didn't realize the way they were breaking it down that it was sitting up at the top and then down below it said playoffs. So okay. So yeah, it stinks, man. It's like get with it. With COVID and everything and all the junk you're dealing with up there, dude, you should have just cut the date off and said wherever you're at, you're at. And if you're not in, you should have thought about that, in game 7 or 8 when you're kind of lollygagging around, But yeah, so Sunday, the Minnesota game, Now the Calgary Vancouver game yesterday wasn't a playoff game, right? No, right. It wasn't. Okay. But they have it lobbed in. Okay. It was just an editing error. But
everybody, the top 4 blocked in. So, I believe it's Calgary and Vancouver that are playing out. And they have no, other than just their fan bases, no input to this season. So I don't even know why the North is still dragging this out. To your point. All 4 top seeds are locked in. Nothing is going to change in the seeding. So why in the world are you still doing this? But I guess it is a Canadian sport. You can't just 86 the rest of the season because 2 teams aren't going to make it, I guess. And Canada wouldn't fly for that.
Yeah. I just feel like get going. Who cares about the seeding? Let's go. Right. Cause that's a distraction. But anyways, it got going and I enjoyed, I'll tell you what, that Tampa Bay, Florida series, it felt like game 7, like the moment they dropped the puck.
That was a hard hitting game.
That was
start to finish. Everybody was just D-cleaters, D-skaters, whatever you want to call
them. There's going to be a brawl, I think. I think there's going to be a flat-out brawl.
I think we see a goalie fight. It might go that far. I'm calling goalie fight if it keeps the intensity that we saw in game 1, because I'm telling you, they missed no opportunity. Everybody that touched the puck knew that they were about to get lit up. And, hey, it went both ways, and it was an entertaining game to watch.
Boston and Washington play again tonight. Washington got the 1-0 win on Boston. That game, I feel like, I know it's stupid to say this because it's game 2, but I feel like Boston is in a do or die situation, because I feel like if they fall down 2-0 to Washington, don't you think it's going to be really hard for them to then win 4 of the next 5 games against the Caps?
It would be hard. I'm not going to say it's undoable for the Bruins, but they did lose a lot of key pieces, and they're not the Bruins of old. So I definitely think if Washington can steal 2 in Boston, then it's pretty much over.
I think I'm gonna have to change my bulbs. By the way, I keep moving my lamp back. You see how bright the picture comes to me, dude. That lamp is as far away as I can push it. I keep going, all right, it's too bright. I think I'm gonna have to either that or go do one of those hippie things and throw a cloth over it, boo, put a little, music on.
Little ambiance in the room.
Yeah. St. Louis, Colorado, good luck with that series starting at 10 p.m. Eastern. I will not be seeing that this year. I'm all in on the Nashville series. I'm all in on watching or keeping up with the Boston, Washington. Obviously, Tampa Bay, Florida, I'm all in on. And then, of course, the Islander series. So pretty much if it's not being played in the East, I'm not paying attention to it. Well, I still count Nashville somewhere east because it is east of the Mississippi. So if you're east of the Mississippi, I'm gonna keep an eye on you. But these 10 o'clock puck drops, man, there's no way I can keep up with that. I feel the same.
What sucks is for the St. Louis fans. You got the way this division was split this year. You've got some central time zone teams playing out there on the West Coast. So yeah, they're not having fun.
And I would love to watch Colorado because I know they're having a great year. There's just no way I'm staying up that late. Hopefully, as it progresses, they'll bring the times earlier in. Real quick for people that are wanting to know what's going on in the NBA, because it's about the most confusing. By the way, I have been wrong this entire time until I read up on it late last night. And the way the NBA playoffs work, are you aware of how this play-in junk actually works?
Not at all.
All right, so I'm going to just, you common sense me on what you would think. So it's 7, 8, 9, and 10 seeds in each conference. So 8 teams total. Okay. How would you think that would go? 7, 8, 9, 10 in the East, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the West. How would they play that out when they
7, 10, 8, 9, and then they both play each other?
And last year it was, if 7 played, it was similar to that, where 7 and 10 played, and 10 had to beat 7 twice, and 7 only had to beat 10 once because they were the higher seed. Both games would be at home, and that was basically it was a best of 3, but they automatically gave the home team a 1-0 series lead is the short of it, right? This year it's totally different, and it doesn't make any damn sense to me. So even though we know that I'm not the biggest fan of LeBron James, he's kind of got a point to this. This thing is stupid. So 7 and 8 are going to play each other tomorrow, and 9 and 10. And whoever wins the 7-8 game goes on to the real playoffs, right? So that's Boston and Washington tomorrow night. The loser goes and plays the winner of the Charlotte Indiana game, because the loser of the Charlotte Indiana game is eliminated. And then the winner of Indiana Charlotte winner versus the Boston Washington loser goes to the playoffs, and they then become the 8 seed. And I'm like, what the hell? That makes no sense.
So you have a regular season round robin tournament to make the playoffs, and then you have a round robin tournament really weird at the end with the bottom of the guys that couldn't get in to try and get more people in. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, and I believe once you get there, I'm pretty sure the way I read it, once you get there, so like let's say Boston loses to Washington and they have to go play for their lives, then they have the advantage, and we'll just say Indiana has to beat Boston twice. I think so. I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. but it's so damn confusing. Like, why would you do it this way? It's hard for a fan to keep up. Because I read several articles and they're finally one that broke it down, and that was the way it was explained. So I'm going to, because it was a credible news source, so I'm going to assume they did their due diligence and they're correct on that. But we'll see if I wake up, Thursday morning or Friday morning, go, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? There's a knife fight at half court to figure out who's going to shoot free throws to get in. Like I have no idea what the hell they're doing. It makes no sense. I like the idea of the expansion, but I just thought it was, it's a best of 3 and the top seed is already at 1-0 And I was like, that's a fair way to do it. Let's go. It's a lot easier for people to keep up with. So in theory, what we're looking at is this is what LeBron James is all mad about. And I still think he's a whiny bitch, but still, I kind of see his point now. Golden State and the Lakers are playing is a 7-8 game. So that's the 10, which is a really good game. Unfortunately, they're going to start at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not staying up for that. San Antonio and Memphis play in the West. So let's say Memphis wins and Golden State loses, or sorry, Golden State wins. The Lakers would be playing Memphis for their collective lives. But I think the way it's set up, the 7-8 seed, they would have to lose 3 consecutive games to get knocked out of the playoffs. And I will say this, looking at it from that perspective, it's you can't complain that much, right? But it is a goofy way that they're doing the play-in tournament.
Yeah, I'd rather seen a horse tournament, winner take all. Put your shooter out there and shooter's going to shoot.
Speaking of that, Florida State women's playing for the national title tonight on for women's soccer, and they went to a shootout to see who wins, because both two teams were tied 0-0 at end of regulation, and then they did 10 minutes in overtime. I don't think I'm glad Florida State won, pulling for the girls, but I don't really think that's a fair way to determine your national champion to go to shootouts, because Virginia played, I thought the better game, but they were terrible in the shootouts. Florida State's goalie guessed every single one. Like I thought someone was banging trash cans. She guessed every single goal that they went to shoot for. And then the Lady Knowles, man, they were just like head fake, boom, in the corner, head fake, boom, in the corner. And the goalie was just like this the whole time. And I was like, wow, all right. So they play Santa Clara tonight. And I know not a lot of people are going to be watching that, but if you are, it's 5:30 Eastern, ESPN2. And then the men's is tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's Marshall versus Indiana, I think. And those are not soccer powerhouses, by the way, for people who don't pay attention. Like Marshall, I'm not even know Marshall had a good soccer team. What's your walk-off, sir?
Speaking of Florida State, in the news this week, New York Giants bringing back one Kelvin Cheeseburger Benjamin, not to play wide receiver, but to play tight end. So my walk-off for the day is Kelvin Benjamin will be a better tight end than Tim Tebow.
Tight end is the new norm. Everyone's going to come back and play tight end. I bet you Michael Jordan could probably come back and play tight end.
Be a heck of a good one too.
I had a really good joke, but I can't think of his name. So it's lost. Well, I'll see you next time. We got to run to break. Red Raider Doug's on the way. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterback Sale. If I can find the stupid commercial button, good Lord.
Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we suck.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays. Drive time? Find the Armchair Quarterback Show on Facebook today.
Yes, Sunday will go all the way.
You'll do anything to stay healthy. So isn't it time to think about your water? Aquasana water filters remove contaminants other filters don't, like lead, bacteria, viruses, and pesticides. Up to 99% of 88 contaminants, while leaving vital minerals you need like potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Visit waterfilter.com now and use promo code RADIO to get 50% off. That's waterfilter.com, promo code RADIO for pure, delicious water and the ultimate peace of mind. Aquasana, better water, better you.
ACC football
covered like no other here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Out of the shotgun, third down and about 10. Ward getting some pressure, getting more, gets it away. He's got fire wide open. Touchdown. Florida State. That's what Florida will do to you. Georgia Tech 45, Nebraska 21. It's now up to the voters. They look like the number one, don't they? All right, 6 seconds to go. Maurer throws it up for grabs. There's 5 defenders back there. And Hitt knocks it down. The game runs out. And Clemson wins the national championship of college football. This is for the national championship for Nebraska. And for Miami, an absolutely miracle year. The dream season as they come back from a bad loss opening day. They go to 11 straight wins and in all probability when the votes are in, a first ever national championship for the Hurricanes.
Are you looking for the perfect gift for any sports fan or just looking to add some stuff to your own man cave? Then head on in to MVP Collectibles at the St. Augustine Outlets Mall. They carry Seminoles, Gators, Bulldogs, Canes, Longhorns, Bama, Buckeyes, Wolverines, Hawks, you name it. They have Patriots, Jaguars, Titans, Dolphins, Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Chiefs, whoever you're looking for. Yankees, Red Sox, Cardinals, Braves, whoever you like. The best selection you'll ever find for the sports fan that thinks they have it all. That's MVP Collectibles in the St. Augustine Outlets Mall, Suite 245, right across from the food court in the St. Augustine Outlets Mall. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6. Get your man cave popping today at MVP Collectibles.
Follow us anytime on
All right. Good morning. CBS Sports Radio, YouTube Live. Find us on YouTube Live today. Armchair Quarterbacks Show. And joining us today is Mr. Red Raider Doug with his Raider Nation shirt on. Doug, how the hell are you this morning, sir?
Doing good. Thank you.
And today this starts the very beginning of our summer of predictions. So we will do every single NFL team, all 32 teams along the way, and we will do most of your Power 5 schools. We're going to obviously not do a deep dive on every single Pac-12 team, but we will do the big ones, and that starts today, and we'll do a few every week, and that's how we will have fun and talk a little football during the downtimes, because it looks like a lot of teams are not going to have are not going to participate in the voluntary workouts. And it looks like the NFL is talking about not wanting to do OTAs this year because they want to get out of the pandemic, everyone vaccinated, et cetera, so that when they come back in, late July, they can go ahead and be ready to roll. And at that point, we should have quite a bit of the nation vaccinated. Whoever's not vaccinated at that point, it just doesn't want to get vaccinated. And it's not like you can do anything about that if you're the National Football League. So you would go into the season ready to roll. And so that's where we're at. But Doug, by the way, have you been vaccinated?
Yes. Yep.
Which one did you go with? And if we've already talked about this, forgive me.
Oh yeah, I got the people I work for. I got the Pfizer one.
Okay. Was that a requirement for the people you work for?
Yeah.
Okay.
It just became a thing. Originally, I got to admit I wasn't going to, but then
that's kind of like the way I was. My wife had to get one via her work because let's put it this way, it's gonna make her life a hell of a lot easier if she got one as opposed to she didn't get one. And now that the numbers have dropped, and now that the CDC has dropped the no mask requirements if you've been vaccinated, she's being told that there's a good chance that she won't have to wear a mask at work anymore, which is, and she works in an office, is what she does. And the short of it is she's in there about 10 hours a day, sometimes more. And sitting there with the freaking mask on all the time, I'm sure it gets annoying as hell. You know,
Yeah.
I work from home, not just doing the radio, but I also work from home off on a computer. So I don't deal with that situation. So I kind of saw what she was doing. When she decided to do it, I told her I would do it with her because she was a little nervous about it. You know, rightfully so. But I said, let me do some research. I want to do the one that I feel the most comfortable with. And the one that I felt the most comfortable with was Pfizer. And we had just gotten jabbed when the news broke out about J&J one jab, you know, blood clot. I was like, we dodged a bullet on that one, because I was like, and if anyone was gonna have one, it'd be me, I'm sure. But we're through it, we're past it. I'll still keep a mask around me in case I run into a business, because Florida's opened up, but it's really up to the individual business. And so I will comply. I'm not going to be a jackass and, you know, trying to get TikTok famous about, I don't want to wear a mask. You can't make me. You know, it's like, then don't go in the damn place. If you see a sign that says wear a mask and you don't want to wear a mask, you have all the rights in the world to say, nah, I'm not going in there.
Yeah.
Same token, if you're a big time masker and you think you have to have a vaccination and wear 3 masks and stay 27 feet apart, and you go into a store and they don't have that and you think they should, don't go in there.
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's really going to come down to personal choice. And those businesses will comply with whatever they think the majority rule is. Right. And so, anyways, moving on from that, we're going to do the Kansas City Chiefs today, baby. Are you ready? We're going to be doing the Kansas City Chiefs this week. I wanted to start off with them because they were the defending AFC champions. We'll probably go through the AFC West here the first few Mondays. We're going to go game by game and give predictions on where we think these teams will finish. So do you have your schedule pulled up for the,
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So Kansas City Chiefs, obviously we don't have to do a big breakdown. I'm trying to get out of the breakdowns that we did, because I think they got a little monotonous and boring, and we'll just go to team schedules and do the predictions, and along the way we can talk about what's happened with them and why we think. And I think that's a better way to do it. We've always traditionally done these breakdowns, and they were fun at the time when we were doing, you know, way back when this was a once a week show and but the fact of the matter is it can get boring talking about who the backup middle linebacker is for any random team that you're not into. So the Chiefs start their, I love the start to the season. This is great. It's in Kansas City. I think they deserve it because they are the defending AFC champions. So why shouldn't you be able to start at home? At home against the Cleveland Browns, who damn near got them in the playoffs last year. I mean, they came close. That was what, the divisional round?
Mm-hmm.
It was right before they blew out Buffalo. And Cleveland at home, Kansas City gets them. I'm going to make sure I'm actually keeping up with this. So here we go. All right, the Cleveland Browns in Kansas City, week 1. You got them winning that or what?
Oh, yeah. The Chiefs are going to win. Cleveland, you can't keep up with that offense. I got them winning. Let me see. I wrote down here 31-27. The Browns will play well.
Well, you don't have to give me a score.
Oh, I wrote it down that way, but yeah.
Rushing yards will Baker Mayfield have? I'm going to hold you to this. Monday off. You said 17. He only had 16 yards. Right? You're a moron. Remember in May when you said he would only. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but Kansas City.
I mean, let's be honest. What we'll be focused on in week 1 of the of that game is if one of us drafted Patrick Mahomes, what the hell he did on a fantasy level. I doubt I have him because someone always picks him in the first round. And I'm not drafting a quarterback in the first round.
No,
not gonna do it. Would not be prudent at this juncture. Week 2 at Baltimore. And this is a Sunday night game. Who you got?
Got to go with Kansas City again.
Really? Okay.
The Ravens have given up way too much on defense. I mean, look, Orlando Brown plays for the Chiefs now, so I don't see the Chiefs dropping this game either.
I kind of suspected you were going to go all, anti-Chiefs and have them on like a 6-game losing streak. So
No, I have to be practical about it.
All right. So I'll go ahead and agree with you there. I do think Baltimore has a chance of winning that game because it's a Sunday night game, but Baltimore seems to be a very tough team to win in Baltimore at night. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and call the upset. I'm going to say that the Chiefs at that point are 1-1 and you've got them 2-0. Okay. At home against the Chargers.
This is going to be a fantastic game because I think the Chargers eventually, maybe not this season, but I think the Chargers are going to be, if there's going to be a team that's going to be a problem for the Chiefs, it's going to be the Chargers, but not this week. I got the Chiefs winning in a close one.
So the 3-0, I got them winning mainly because it's at home. They're 3-0. They're going to Philadelphia, 1:00 kickoff. Who you got?
Got to go with the Chiefs again because Jalen Hurts is not going to keep up with Patrick Mahomes.
I agree with that. Then Buffalo comes a calling. Sunday night, a rematch at the AFC Championship game where they got their doors blown off of them. Does Buffalo get the revenge?
No, it'll be a close one. They'll make a mistake. There'll be like a late interception, and the Chiefs will win in a squeaker. It'll be a good game. It'll be close, but I think the Chiefs will pull that out too because the Bills' defense is lousy, and I didn't see them making any.
I think the biggest way that they can help that defense is to get a damn running game, commit to the running game, because I think there are players on that Bills defense that is actually pretty darn decent. Because we saw it a few years ago before they went pass happy. They were one of the best defenses in the NFL, but it was because they were fresh and they So I really think what helps with Buffalo this year is to help their defense. They need offense, meaning they need to hold on to the ball. That basketball fast break stuff that they're doing, it could only wear down your defense. The next week they're at Washington, the Washington football team. So 1:00 kickoff. Who you got there?
I'm gonna have to hold my nose and say the Chiefs are going again. But if there's going to be an upset, this is where it's going to be, because one thing people may not realize, Washington has a very good defense. And that defense,
I don't know why they wouldn't realize that, man. They're ranked. I think they're ranked first or second in the league. And
but a lot of people, I think it's just because it's the Washington. I think they're just biased with that Washington team. But people, and I'm speaking from a fantasy point too. There may be fantasy players don't realize that's a really good defense. And I think
it is. I don't want to start them the week they host the Kansas City Chiefs, though. If we're talking fantasy, I'm like, there's got to be something
maybe
on the
not.
wire, man. Anything but that. Especially if points allowed and yards allowed, like we do in our leagues does. So then the next week they go to the Tennessee Titans, and that is a 1:00 kickoff as well. What you got?
Chiefs in another close one.
So you got the Chiefs at that point, they'd be
7-0.
I've got them at 5-2 at that point. I do think Washington gets their number.
Okay.
I don't think they'll lose to Tennessee because Tennessee has done absolutely nothing with getting a pass rush. They have a couple of additions that they're hoping for, but there's not something that's really jumping off the board. So unless it just gets constructed differently and they have a better game plan, the only thing I could see happening if Tennessee could get this W is it how beat up and physically exhausted are they after playing at Washington. But if this is a heads up game, man on man game, I just don't think they're going to be able to hang with them. All right, they're at home against the Giants in week 8. Who you got?
Forget about it. Chiefs all the way on that one.
Daniel Jones is going to throw for 500 yards.
At least, maybe.
Oh, it's a Monday night football game too. In New York. That's the only thing that'll keep it somewhat close. The next Sunday, We don't know what the hell's going on with Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to guess that he's not playing for the Green Bay Packers Sunday, November 7th. So I have got to give Kansas City the W. What say you?
I agree. I think with Rodgers or without Rodgers, I'm giving Kansas City the W, especially if Rodgers is gone.
Week 10, they're at the Raiders on a Monday night. Sunday night. Sorry.
Oh, Sunday night. That's right. This is where they take their first loss.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. See, you thought I wasn't going to resist, but yes, this is the Raiders do have their number, and they have their number at home.
I honestly think they'll lose too. That's a tough place to play. It's Sunday night, and the Raiders play them well. The next week, it is a Sunday afternoon tilt at home against the Cowboys. Man, should there be some fantasy points up on that one? What say you?
Oh yeah, fantasy lights will be going. Your fantasy notifier will be going off every 10 minutes in this game. The Chiefs in a massacre here.
Do you set your phone to those?
I do, yeah.
Ugh, you're a mental patient.
I have to because I like them because I'm on the road driving a lot, and I like to get my notifications because I can't always look at my computer all the time. So that's why I do that.
During the game?
No, not during the game. I'm talking about when I'm away from the house and I'm getting it, especially with baseball season when there's day games and stuff.
Oh, okay. I could see that, but
no, not at home.
I'm thinking of when a couple of the guys that we know well that have their phones set up to every time one of their guys scores. It's annoying watching a game with them, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I have it off
because they're constantly staring at from. Hey, Jones just scored. Hey, Smith just scored. I'm like, we're watching it right now.
Yeah,
you freak. Why'd you even come over to watch the game, you loser? Go sit outside with your lemonade and just freaking watch your phone. We're gonna sit here and chug beer and watch the game in the living room. It's just it takes the fun out of it for me. I want to see it happen. Anyways. So you get the in-game scoring on your phone from baseball? That thing's got to blow up 27.
No, not in-game scoring. I just get my fantasy updates on players, like Arenado hit the home run, that kind of stuff. I don't get those. Yeah.
Okay. That I understand.
Yeah.
Your guy gets hurt, I understand. Something like that. That I understand.
Yeah.
Going, hey,
the in-game. Oh my God.
Hey man, Arenado just got intentionally walked. I don't give a damn. What's 1 point in a 400-point week? Who cares? All right, next game. They get the bye in week 12. Then it seems like they're at home a lot. Then they're at home against the Broncos and at home against the Raiders. We're gonna have to speed this up a little bit. So, what you got there?
They beat the Broncos, and then they come back and they beat the ever-loving daylights out of the Raiders because they're angry from their loss on Sunday night. All
right. So at the Chargers, home against the Steelers. What do you got there?
Let me see. I have got the this is where they take a loss. Chargers beat them, and then they come back next week and they beat the Steelers.
They finished the season at Cincinnati and at Denver.
They beat the Bengals, but that's going to be a really good game. And they beat the Broncos.
All right, so you've got them going 15-2.
Yep.
That is a Herculean task if that happens. I'm not saying it won't happen because I feel like this team that's been to the Super Bowl 2 consecutive years just improved a whole hell of a lot with their offensive line additions. To me, that to hell with what they did in the draft. That was huge what they did in the offseason via trade and free agency. I've got them going. Make sure I've got this. I have them going 12-5.
Okay.
Because The reason being, I do think they'll lose to the Chargers. When they finish the season off at Denver, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to beat them. I really do. I think Aaron Rodgers will have it together in the Denver Broncos. I'm just going with the fact that I think Aaron's going to go to Denver. I think the Raiders are going to beat them. I told you I thought Washington was going to beat them. So that's 4 losses. And then the 5th one is the Baltimore loss. I just think they're going to take a little time to get it going. And if they're 12-4 going into that final game, do they even need to win it? Will they have the Bobos out there? Right? Because the rest of the division will probably be fighting to stay 500. So that's another reason. And if a team like a team that has a realistic chance to go run away and hide with a really good record would be someone like, you would say KC, but we'll just go ahead and throw out there that Baltimore's a little more improved. And what will Cleveland be? Right. And so I think at 12-4, you're only going to get one bye, right? It'll really come down to what the rest of the league is looking like. If they're going into that final weekend, they're like, we need this win to get the bye, then okay. I could see 13-4, but I just think that game's going to be meaningless to them. And so that's why I've got them at 12-5. So 15-2, 12-5. You're probably closer to being right, to be perfectly honest with you, because they are a loaded team. I'm just betting on the fact that they will take a minute to gel together. And then Aaron Rodgers is going to be in their division. I fully believe he's either going to be there or he's going to be in South Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we do the prediction now because we're stupid. So, it is what it is. Let's go ahead. This has nothing to do with the actual and the preseason prediction we'll do, the day before the season starts when we have all the information. Now,
let's
go to DraftKings real quick today. And what do you like?
Take Cole at 10,000. It's a plug and play, easy, no brainer. If you want some value picks, pick up Kikuchi because he's playing Detroit. Detroit is absolutely horrid, so it's a good value pick at 7,800. Pick up Contreras at 5,000, Abreu at 5,400, and Gavin Lux at 3,500. Those are your best header bets at value.
I'll tell you something else that has my eye. It's a little bit of a reach because he's been shaky and good all year long, been battling injury, but Max Fried is at home against the Mets. The Mets had a couple more injuries. So I don't know what their starting lineup is going to look like today. They're going up against Taijuan Walker, and he's, obviously been phenomenal. But Max Fried could be a sneaky value play at 7,300. So I really like that one. And as far as stacking, I would say the stack that I would be looking at today is probably try to stack some Angel batters going up against a Los Angeles Angels Sandoval, who has been shaky at best, right?
Yeah.
So I would be looking to, and he is a lefty, which means I'd be looking to stack some Trout, and I probably wouldn't even be scared off by assuming he's in the lineup, get Ohtani. What about season long? Anything jump out at you? How's your team doing, by the way?
Overall, not too bad. As far as season long picks that I really have liked, one's kind of obvious because he's playing really well, but I picked him up over the waiver wire weeks ago, was Mitch Haniger from Seattle. He's had a phenomenal season, and he just happened to be on the waiver wire.
You
and
know
I
what has
picked him up.
shocked me the most? I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Finish your thought. Go ahead.
Oh, no, he was just sitting there. He was just sitting there on the waiver wire, and I plugged and played him, and he's been great ever since. Go ahead.
In our old school dynasty league, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm 5-1. I've got like a 200 point lead on the same guy who's 5-1. But what has shocked me the most is that the guy that's 5-1, he has been in the cellar of our league for years. And he's always drafting and keeping, because it's a dynasty, it's a 15-player dynasty. He's always keeping the Bobos year after year. He will let a good player go just to have it set up for him to I always call him wait till next year, right? Because he's always got a guy that's like, oh, he's likely to debut in 2022. You're like, what? This year, I mean, dude, he is rocking and rolling, man. I got to give credit to him.
Yeah. My team is like, it's driving me nuts. It's the polar opposite. I have lost 4 straight games by less than 20 points, all of you. And I've led all of you who I've played all week long, too. It drives me nuts.
You didn't leave me, dude.
Yes, I did. I was ahead of you by 80. Hell, I was ahead of you by 40 points all week.
That was opening week, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then come Sunday.
You won that. No, you won opening week because I told you
right.
I told you I was punting opening week in almost all my leagues. I was going to build my team, look for it, because I was like, it's an 11-game week, and I'm not going to sit here and stress out over one game. I'm going to get ready to roll, and I haven't lost since.
Nah, I've been like last week. I lost to a certain person by 7 points.
Oh, that hurts.
Yes, and all because Chase Anderson.
I almost lost this week, but Rocky Top fell asleep at the wheel. Didn't start 2 of his starters yesterday.
Oh,
but I had to, man. I had to look. Thursday morning, I think it was. I looked up and I was like, Jose Altuve is a free agent. What the hell's going on here? And it's because the guy who's last in our league is panicking. So I only had 1 pickup left. I'd already made a couple other pickups to improve my team, and I was like, dude, I don't care if I fall to second place, whatever, dude. I've got to freaking get Altuve. So I picked him up now, and I've got Altuve the rest of the year. So, it is what it is, assuming he doesn't get hurt or whatever. But I probably should have lost if he would have used his pickups and just would have, if he would have just started his guys, he would have lost by a little bit, but he still had some pickups left. I'm a little surprised that Rocky Top, fell asleep with the, I meant to bring it up today and I forgot about it because I was about to say, were you drunk all weekend? Like, it takes 2 minutes to get your lineup. But I'm wishing the playoffs right now. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm 5-1 in all 3 of the leagues that we're in. I'm kicking ass and taking names. And that just means my team's going to stink in August. I just know it is, because my teams are never this good, because I'm usually building and looking at this. And I'll take a loss here because I got to grab this player. I'm fully for that. I'm just trying now to get as many W's as I can, so that if I have to start rebuilding my team because of injury, because it's going to happen, that I can afford to take losses. I'm wishing the worst for everyone who is ranked 5th through 8 in all of our leagues. That way, I would love to have like a 7 or 8 game lead at the All-Star break from the 5th place team, so that I don't have to worry about if I'm going to make the playoffs. And at that point, I'm just building my team.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, in that league that we're talking about, Staten Island, he's 3-3. He's a game in front of you, dude. He's got the worst points in the league. He's been fortunate. I don't know who he's played, but he has been fortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've played him yet or not, but he's 2,300 points and you've got 27.
Yeah.
And you're right there, top 5 in scoring. So, you're about where you expect it to be. I play him this week, by the way, which means I'll probably lose, but if I see players out there, man, I'm willing to take I don't want to drop below 2 or 3 in it, because I don't want to get to I'm in the 4 seed and holy crap, what's going to happen? Let's go ahead and turn back time, get the hell out of here. By the way, Braves Country today will be available in the next hour. We'll be posting that. For those of y'all that missed it, real quick programming note, Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, you've got the payoff pitch, which is fantasy baseball analytical show that we're doing on YouTube. And you'll be able to see the replay as well, but we're going live at 10 a.m. every Saturday. And then 11 a.m. Eastern is the second episode of the neighborhood play, and that's Chicago White Sox and Chicago Cubs baseball. And Joey and Christian did a hell of a job. Even if you're not a Cubs or White Sox fan, it was a really good baseball show. So we got that. And in June 4th, which is a Friday in a couple of weeks, Timus Wooten, myself, and Angelo, we are going to be talking Red Sox, Yankees, Rays baseball. So that should be a lot of fun. We'll be doing that at 10 a.m. Eastern on Friday mornings. All right, let's go ahead and turn back time after I got done with that damn infomercial. Brought to you by the Swiffer Jet. Okay, here we go. Turn back time. All right, on this date in history, 1925, in a 2-1 loss to the Senators, Indians outfielder, of course, used to be a Red Sox, Trish Speaker, the Gray Eagle, singles off pitcher Tom Zachary to click his 3,000th hit. The Gray Eagle becomes the 5th major league player at the time to reach the milestone, joining Camp Anson, Honus Wagner, Nap Lohoy, and Ty Cobb. One of the best players to ever play the game that no one ever really talks about, the Gray Eagle. They always said that he played incredibly shallow in center field and would steal singles.
Yep.
Which is what I remember Andrew Jones in his prime for the Braves doing. When he played, I used to always reference it when we had a little show at the time in Middle Tennessee radio, and I used to call him the glove where singles die, because I've never seen anyone in my life as good as Ken Griffey Jr. was. He wasn't better than Andrew Jones with the glove in his prime. Just no one is. Andrew Jones got out of shape when he went to the Dodgers, or he'd be standing in the Hall of Fame right now. Also on this date, by the way, 1983, the Islanders win their 4th consecutive cup, sweeping the Oilers in 4 games with a 4-2 win. That's obviously the last time that they've won the cup. I remember this. These are my kid memories of hockey. So when I first started following hockey, it's just never been my first love or anything like that, because for years in Florida, you didn't get it on regular TV. But we were hockey fans, me and my cousin, and he took me to a game, et cetera, et cetera. But it's hard to believe to me that's been 38 years ago, because good God, what the hell, how old am I? What the hell are we talking about here? Birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
All right, a couple of good ones. Tony Parker, 39 years old. Was French-born American basketball player for the Spurs, and I always felt like he was just as, if not more important to the Spurs runs as Tim Duncan. I never thought he got his due. He damn sure wasn't no Ben Wallace with 5.7 points a game. Also, 36 years old. Very, very big year in his life. Matt Ryan, 36 years old. Happy birthday. I think this is the most pivotal year. This is the most pivotal year for him, because he could get reborn again with the addition of Pitts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he could probably get an extension and play for the next few years. If he looks great, the Falcons will bring him back. But if he looks like he's lost a step, Matt Ryan is going to get kicked to the curb, and they'll go draft a quarterback. I still think they did the right thing in drafting Pitts.
I agree.
You can always go draft a quarterback this year if Matt Ryan really is going. What's your walk-off, sir?
Walk-off is from the world of baseball. Philly fans, your team is tearing itself apart on the field, in that dugout too.
That's a shame.
Watching that game, watching Gene Segura nearly rip Girardi's head off, tore that dugout apart. They're probably still putting that dugout back together again.
Yeah, I found it interesting that Girardi doesn't even want to talk about it. He said that's an in dugout thing, which I get that, and I agree with it to a degree. But I also look at it as, dude, you're in Philadelphia, man. If you're in Philadelphia, you're in New York. What stays in the dugout what happens to Douglas is not going to fly with their media, or used to
Nope.
not. Well, I don't know if they've gotten all soft and everything, but they used to say, no, dude, we need to know. And they'll dig until they find someone who tells them exactly what happened. So you're better at controlling the narrative. If y'all haven't seen the video, you can pull it up anywhere, but yeah, I've got it right now, but we don't have access. We don't have the rights to that videos because
It's just interesting to me because Gene Segura is not a man with a temper. He's one of the most even kind of keeled players there is. And for him to lose his temper like that, there's something going on.
Something happened. Yeah. Problems in Philly. They're still in second place. My walk-off for today, Mets Braves tonight, ESPN. Big rivalry. Big series as the Mets are 2 games in front of Atlanta. They don't have DeGrom. Stroman's already pitched yesterday, so they won't have those two. That's disadvantage for them. What's an advantage for them? This Taiwan Walker kid, man, if you people aren't been paying attention to, he would be leading Cy Young votes right now, I believe, in the National League. He's been that good. He's got like a 2.22 ERA, something like that, and 4-1 or 5-1, whatever the hell he is. Unbelievable. Y'all have a great day. Preds play tonight. Braves play tonight. It's tax day, the last day of taxes. Thank God, man. I'm ready to blow my head off dealing with this stuff, man. Oh my God, the phone calls. Oh, I'm really upset because you waited till the last damn moment to file your freaking taxes. Go ahead and file an extension and be done with it and calm down. That's all I say. All right, brother. We'll see you.
All righty.
Goodbye, sweetheart. It's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Gonna get